So the Dark Heart content dropped yesterday, and there is some lore that's going to lead us into the War Within. But a lot of people don't want to read the quest, they just want to play the game, but they may go back and go, I really wonder what's going on. And if that's the case, then this is the place to be, because I'm going to shotgun style just tell you all the important details. But before we do that, let's jump into finding out who our characters are and understand a little bit more about their background. That way we'll understand the story a little bit more. So most importantly, you need to know about Alleria Windrunner. She was a ranger captain of Silvermoon. Her lover is Turalyon. They were trapped in a place called the Twisting Nether for like 1,000 years, and they were part of the Army of Light. The Twisting Nether is like this dimensional plane between light and dark. And back in Legion on Argus, she absorbed the dark power from the Naru Lura, and now that makes her the very first Void Elf in existence. Now, Turalyon was one of the original 5 paladins of the Knights of the Silver Hand. Like we said before, he's Alleria's lover, and they have a son named Eretor, and we'll talk about him in just a little bit. But basically, this guy led the Alliance into Draenor back in the day, and when they were trying to get out, him and Alleria got separated from their troops, and were lost in the Twisting Nether for like 1,000 years, where they joined the Army of Light. And the Naru named Zera blessed him and said that he has crossed the boundaries of mortality, and he has been found worthy to become an eternal protector of creation. So that's how he's been able to live for so long. Now, Eretor is the son of Alleria and Turalyon. He's a half-elf, and he's also part of the Knights of the Silver Hand, so he's a paladin. Xal'atath is our main antagonist in the War Within. She's really, really old. She dates back to the old gods in the Black Empire. She was this dagger, and Shadow Priest got to use her in Legion. But after a while, she made a pact with N'Zoth, and the exchange of the pact was that she was going to be able to be freed from the dagger, and she used the body of a high elf named Inannis after you kill her in Drustvar, and now is present in a physical form. We just haven't known where she's been this whole time, but now she's starting to reveal herself, and she's going to be the bad guy. And lastly, we have Locust Walker, who's a Void Ethereal, and he's the one who taught Alleria Windrunner everything that she knows about the Void since she's been consumed by the Void. We're not really fully consumed, she just has it in her, and she's trying to fight it off the entire time from overwhelming her and taking her over. Okay, so now that we have a background of all these characters, let's jump in and find out what happened in the new Dark Heart content. So after the patch is done downloading and installing and everything, you're going to log in, and Khadgar's going to say, hey, I need to talk to you. Why don't you head over to Dalaran? So you head on over there, and you enter the Chamber of the Guardian, and when you get over to where Khadgar is, Alleria is there waiting for you. She says, hey, I thought, I'd wait for you so we can talk to them together. There's a cutscene, and Jaina's talking to Khadgar, and she's saying that there's something going on called the Radiant Song, and it's something that everyone in Azeroth is hearing, or a lot of people are saying that they're hearing, and she's like, I'm going to go find out what's going on. So she leaves. Now Khadgar starts talking to Alleria, and he's like, hey, it's been a long time. She's like, yeah, everything's great except for my family, who I really don't want to be around because I have the Void, and it kind of sucks. So she doesn't want to, harm them or anything. He says, hey, well, actually, because you have the Void in you, that's why I asked you here. There's this item called the Dark Heart, and we have no idea what it does, but what we do know is that it's in the hands of someone called the Harbinger. And Khadgar wants her to go take a look into it, investigate a little bit more, and she's like, yeah, I'm down for it because I could use something to distract myself. So she says, no problem, I'll see you soon with the Dark Heart in hand. Pretty confident. We like that. So this is the part where you can go back and play an old cutscene from the Dawn of the Infinite, which is that dungeon. It was like mega dungeon, and what you see is a Ridderkron getting the Dark Heart, which contains the essence of Galakrond, which is this really, really big dragon. And personally, I think he's the scariest bad guy in World of Warcraft. Anyways, Ridderkron takes the Dark Heart, mentions something about the Harbinger, and then he bounces out through a portal. So at this point, all we know is that Ridderkron went back in time, he got the essence of Galakrond, put it into the Dark Heart, and he gave it to the Harbinger, and that's all we know. So now Alleria says, hey, we need to go investigate this. So what I'm gonna do is have you follow me, and I'm gonna open up a rift, and we're gonna go somewhere and check out what's going on. So the portal leads you to the Telorgris Rift, and when you get there, you find out that the Void Elves have sent out Rift Walkers to see where the Void is acting up in different parts of Azeroth. Now Alleria is talking to Magister Umbric and telling him about the Radiant Song, and he's like, that's really interesting, I better report this to Locust Walker, but says, hey, we need to continue this investigation, and what you need to do now is go talk to the Rift Walkers. And when they report to you, they say that the Void hasn't really had much activity in the places that they checked over Azeroth. They even went to the southern coast, and he's like, everything seems perfectly fine over there. But the one area that the Void Elves sent a Riftwalker to, but that Riftwalker didn't report back, was Galakrond's Rest over in Northrend. So when you and Illyria get there, you decide to trace the steps of the Riftwalker and see if you can find out where she is. And Illyria gets this feeling that something's going on in Ulduar, so you head up there, and sure enough, there's the Riftwalker, but she's been totally consumed by the Void, and you have to burn her down. It's just what happens. Oh well. And that's when the Harbinger finally starts to antagonize Illyria a little bit by finally taunting her a bit by saying, hey, you want my dark heart? Well, you better come and, take it from me. So you and Illyria go through this portal and you end up back in Aerodith, which is not really a happy place for Illyria because this is where she got consumed by the Void, and you end up going through all these different memories of hers and you fight a whole bunch of different bad guys from her memories. But the big one is when you see Turalyon and he's saying like, you're evil now and I don't trust you, you're not part of the light. And Illyria is not happy because she's like, this never happened, this is something that's completely made up. And at this point the Harbinger is really getting on Illyria's nerves, and we end up following Turalyon through this other portal, which leads us back over into Telegra's Rift. And now you've noticed that the Harbinger does have a bunch of Void enemies as like a form of an army. And once you kill a bunch of those, you get over to Illyria, and she says, we gotta go take care of this really bad form of Turalyon. You end up fighting him, and he's kind of taunting Illyria, saying, how could you do X, Y, Z? You're a horrible person, blah, 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 blah. And he beckons her to kill him, and she can't do it. But we all know that this is a false Turalyon, and the Harbinger is just trying to, poke at Illyria's heart and, kind of mess with her. And that's when Locust Walker reveals that the Harbinger is Xal'atath and tells her to go away, and she's like, fine, I'm not going to overstay my welcome. And that's the last time we hear from the Harbinger at this point in time. Now, the next thing comes up as a cutscene, but this cutscene kind of sets up what we're going to be dealing with in the War Within, so I think it's best that we just watch the whole thing.
So it is Xal'atath who has claimed the Dark Heart. I understand now why she calls herself the Harbinger.
I've had enough riddles for one day.
The radiant visions you spoke of are the very same my people had. Before our world was consumed by the Void Lord Dimensius.
What? You don't think... Could Xal'atath be seeking that same fate for Azeroth?
I fear that is precisely what she intends. You must find a way to stop her.
Me? Look, she knew exactly how to hurt me. I don't think I'm the one to...
Yes, she knew your greatest fear is endangering your family. But you must let go of that fear. Embrace who you truly are.
I know who I am.
Do you? You are unbalanced. You must master your unique nature, Illyria. If you cannot, then Azeroth is already doomed.
So at this point, we're kind of screwed if Illyria can't do whatever she needs to do, and the Harbinger or Xal'atath is a big threat. And once you get back to Dalaran, you talk to Khadgar and tell him about Xal'atath, and Jaina Proudmoore can't even get a hold of Magni, and he's the speaker of Azeroth, so we kind of need him. But it's pretty important because the Radiant Song has to be connected to all of this, and the fact that Locust Walker said that the Ethereals heard the same kind of thing before their world was destroyed, it's kind of scary because this could happen to Azeroth. And the fact that the Radiant Song is probably Azeroth speaking to us saying, hey, I need some help. We really need to find Magni because he can tell us exactly what's going on. But before that happens, Jaina is going to go talk to Thrall. And again, we need to come together as Horde and Alliance to fight or combat this problem that we have. So that's where they left us. I'm sure they're going to push this out more next week, and I will make another summary video for you guys. And this is really for those who just don't want to read the quest, but they still want to know what's going on in the story. But if you guys like this content, then make sure to go check out my other videos on my channel, which is based off of like World of Warcraft quest lore and, also just some other stuff. I'm kind of branching out these days. And if you really, really like the content and want to support the work that I do, then go ahead and check out my membership options on my YouTube page. And if you do like to support content creators, I do have a Patreon that I just started, and I'm trying to get things rolling on that as well. And basically any donation that comes my way does help me stay at home more so I can make more content for you guys. And if you guys live on the internet like I do, then I'm also on Twitch, and I do stream my workouts at my gym and my garage in the mornings. And I'm also starting to branch out and play a little bit more of like World of Warcraft. But all in all, thank you so much to those who have supported the channel already. And I'm really, really excited to bring you guys more lore content, and I'll see you guys next time in Azeroth. Take care.